Hi, Matt with Bicycle Adventures here, the operations director, and today we're going to change a flat. What you're going to need today is some tire irons, a new tube, a pump, and a flat tire. So, first thing we're going to do is make sure that you release all of the remaining air out of it if it's not already done so. Open that valve, make sure that it's all empty. Next, what we want to do is make sure that the bead is broken from the rim. So we're going to squeeze all the way around. You'll hear it snap a few times. That's a good sign. Alright, so we got that bead nice and loose off the rim. Then we're going to make this a little bit easier on yourself and do this little trick where we start with the valve up and put pressure around the tire going down. This centers the bead and gives you a little bit of slack at the bottom. It'll make it a little bit easier to work with. Then we're going to tip it over and we're going to work the opposite side from the valve. Then take one tire iron, pull the tire back, and we're trying to grab the bead, which is the hard wire part that's right underneath the tire, and pull it over the rim without grabbing tube. Like that. Now I'm going to try to hold one side a little bit, and I'm going to use the lever to push away from myself and pull that bead right off the rim. This can be quite difficult on some tires and rim combinations, and occasionally you'll want to use two tire irons, but you want to use as few tire irons as you can get away with. Most of the time, if you do that little trick where I showed you about stretching it, then you can do just one like that. So, pull the bead all the way off the rim like this, reach up inside that tire, pull out the tube, down to the stem, pull the tire over the tube and take it out like that. Now, you want to know why you have a flat. If the flat happened really quickly and air released immediately, probably a pinch flat, your tube is completely garbage, just throw it away and you don't need to look for a hole. That happens from having too low a pressure and hitting a hard edge. If the leak is slow or gradual, then it probably is from a puncture and there may be something still stuck in your tire from it. What I do at this point is take my thumb and go all the way around the tire on the inside. And I want to feel for anything sharp. There's a small chance that you'll cut yourself, but I don't think I've ever cut myself once doing it. If you feel something sharp, it'll be just a little bit of traction. Go to that part of the tire, look for the piece of glass or thorn, and pull it out. Let's also use this time to inspect the tire, look at the sidewalls to see if there's any cuts. I've already checked out this tire and I know that it's pretty healthy and I don't have any glass left in, so now it's time to put a tube back in. So, take your new tube and we're going to take out the rubber band, and all new tubes come with a plastic cap and a little nut, and those you can feel free to throw them away. They don't really have much purpose on a road bike wheel like this. Then we will open up the valve and I'm going to put as much air in it as I can do it with my mouth. This just gives it a little bit of shape. If you're uncomfortable with that, just put your pump on it and put a couple pumps in there. You don't need much, just something to hold some edge. And we're going to start with the valve hole at the top and the stem. And we're going to pull back the tire just like when we took it off. We're going to put the stem through the hole and put the tire back over. And now we're going to place the tube inside the tire. Now this part is really important that you make sure that the tube is nice and relaxed. You want to make sure there's no twists, there's no tight spots. If you see that it's coming out like this, maybe that means on the opposite side it's bunched up. And once you have it as relaxed as you can, go from the stem all the way around the wheel and try and get that tube over the rim before trying to set the bead. This will make the next step go much easier. Alright, now, starting at the stem again with two hands, we want to place the bead back over the rim. And I'm going to work my way around. I actually would be doing this on the ground, so I'd be using my palms like this. And I just work my way around, making sure that I don't feel that tube pinch underneath the bead anywhere. And here I've got a little tube sticking up, so I'm just going to gently tuck it back over that rim until I get down to the end of this. And right here is where it can be a little tricky. And what you want to do is you want to use your palms and use the advantage of this position where you have the tire up in your gut and you just want to rock that tire bead back and forth. This is a little tight here. So what I'm going to do is that same trick we did when we were taking it off. I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to push the tire down like this, and I'm going to go right back to using my palms to try and get this thing over. Now, if you have a really tight tire, then sometimes you can use the tire iron to put this back over. The only problem with doing this is you risk grabbing the tube and adding a new puncture in it while you're installing it, and that can be pretty frustrating. So if you can do it with your bare hands, that's best. But if you need to use a tube, what you want to do is just be very careful to go underneath and try and feel that it's not grabbing the tube underneath the lever. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't, and it can be frustrating when you're on the side of the road and you have to do this twice in a row. But we're going to try and do this with my hands. This one's pretty tight, but you just work it a little bit at a time, then it'll pop right over. Now, I want to check, make sure the tube didn't bunch up and go underneath the bead anywhere. I'm going to go all the way around and pinch the tire and just see that rim tape. I don't see any bunches of tube. And go all the way around. It's worth the extra step. And there we have it. And I don't see any rubber sticking out. And so now I'm going to put some air in my tire. If you're on the side of the road, you probably have something like this. And it is intended to get you home, but it's very difficult to get to high pressure with a hand pump like this. So fill it up as best you can, and then when you get home or to a bike shop, then use the floor pump, which I'll just start with that, so you don't have to see me hassle with the small one. Now what I'm going to do is just put about 20 or 30 pounds of pressure in here, just a little bit, still too squishy, and I want to look around the wheel, and I want to see, is there any bulges of tube sticking out, is there any high spots or low spots, and I'm going to look on both sides, because if you made a mistake, then a lot of times you're going to see it right here, by something being uneven around this edge. This looks fine, so now I'll go up to high pressure. If you have a little piece of tube sticking out and you go up to high pressure, then you might have the tire pop while you're doing this, and it can be pretty loud, but then you just have to put a new tube in. Alright, and I'm going to go up to about 95 pounds on the rear wheel for myself, and close the valve, and we're all done. So, again, changing a tire is something that we probably all have to do from time to time. It's the most common problem that happens on bikes, and it can be pretty frustrating if it's cold and you're on the side of the road, but if you've done some practice on this, especially in your living room, then you can get pretty comfortable on the side of the road doing this. And I've run out of things to say now. Sorry. Goodbye.